Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Diaries of a Six-Figure Coach podcast. I'm super excited today to introduce you to Nadia Gargallo. Nadia is actually in Spain. So we're having this interview between Spain and Mexico, which is so cool. I had no idea. Nadia and I had literally just connected on Instagram. So Nadia is another one of those incredible humans that I've connected with. And here we are on this podcast. We've actually not spoken beyond Instagram, but it just kind of felt aligned and good, and the energy and the vibe was there. And so we're like, let's do an exchange on each other's podcasts. Let's come onto each other's podcasts. And what I love about connecting with beautiful souls like Nadia is that we can be on different parts of the world in our own expression, doing what we're doing, and somehow we find each other and find these almost like, I want to say, soul connections that have a very similar perspective on certain things business related, certain things energetics related, yet we're so different in the way we live it out and express it and embody it. And so Nadia is an energy alignment and business mentor. She works with coaches and entrepreneurs herself. And so Nadia, I'm so excited for us to talk human design, strategy, energetics, all the goodness. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm so excited for this conversation and so happy that we connected. I truly believe in what you said, like the energy is connecting despite the distance and being in completely different sides of the world, but the souls always connect when they have to. So I'm excited to have this conversation and have connected with you.
So good. You know, in human design, I'm a 3/5 manifesting generator with an emotional authority. So whenever somebody, drops in my world, it's like my favorite thing because I get to respond. So like, tell me a little bit about you and your journey in your business and how human design tied into it.
Yeah, I'm actually also a manager, sacred authority though. So I really love the responding and like making new connections and having a lot of variety in everything that I do, and having fun. That's an important thing too. So my journey with my business, it's been a long one. I'm not the type of person who gets into success and everything quickly. So it's been a long journey, and just to summarize things, the first 2 years of my business, I started as a food freedom and self-love coach for binge eaters because I experienced binge eating disorder myself. So when I healed from that, I wanted to help others who were going through the same to stop dieting, to find peace with food and their bodies. But it was really hard. It was really hard to make my business work. And like you want to help people, but then you realize that you need to become a salesperson, a marketing person, a copywriter, a content strategist, like lead generation, like all this stuff that comes with a coaching business, right? Or an online business. So I had to learn a lot. Being a 1-3 profiling human design, the line 3, for anyone who doesn't know much about human design, is all about evolving through trial and error. So that was my journey the first 2 years. I was always like trying things, didn't work, fail, to then find what was. So this was a huge discovery when I came across human design, because before I thought like, what's wrong with me? Like people seem to have this success and I'm always failing and nothing works and all this stuff. So yeah, it was a lot of trial and error, like learning what doesn't work to then learn what works. So slow steps, but steady steps. And then, so I started my business journey in 2018. And then in 2020, I have kind of like a burnout where I wasn't feeling aligned. Things were not working. I was not stepping in to my power when it came to my business. So I completely stopped for 2 months. And then when I decided to go back to work, I was looking for a mentor. And then I came across someone who actually suggested to shift my niche. She intuitively wasn't seeing me doing what I was doing, and she could sense that there was a little bit of negativity or triggers in what I was doing. So I decided to shift. And then because of everything that I had to learn with social media, with marketing, with copywriting, with how to get clients online, like all that stuff, I decided to shift and help entrepreneurs. And that felt a lot more empowering. But then it's when I went on a deep journey of not learning the strategies, but working on myself, basically. So it's where I started to like go deep into working with my shadows and really uncovering what was going on for me energetically and with my limiting beliefs. And beginning of 2021 is when human design came across, together with masculine and feminine energetics, so both together. So I started to understand how much I was in the masculine, forcing myself, not allowing myself to be in that satisfaction and pleasure, which is so important for a manifesting generation. Satisfaction is our sign of being in alignment, but I was neglecting and like holding myself back from all that because I was taking those identities of being an action taker, of being super disciplined. And therefore, by taking those identities on, I will neglect the pleasure and allowing myself to do what feels right and slow down and tap into other things. So it was always like the discipline there. Like I need to finish my to-do list. So I was so much in my masculine that I had a hard time to receive and bring the clients in. And I was so out of alignment with my energy when I came to design. So it's been a mix of everything to make my business successful: strategies, masculine and feminine energetics, creating that balance. And then human design was really the permission slip to be myself, to understand more of myself and be in my power. And yeah, give myself permission to really build the business that I wanted to build.
I love this so much. Thank you so much for sharing. And I mean, I relate so much. One, I'm a free line too. So I like, give me the experience and let's just learn it all and mess it all up and then rebuild it. Like there's this process of creation that I find is quite messy for us as we're learning what works and what doesn't. But I really resonate with your message. And I feel like so many of my listeners on this podcast will resonate around being in your masculine so much. And, you know, it's kind of that wounded masculine energy too. And what I have found over the years as I've learned what worked and what didn't through experiencing it, and was really how much mistrust was built by being so stuck in the masculine, and how we pushed that feminine energy aside. But it's like we yo-yo so often, you know, we either in our feminine so much that it's almost like we're on the sofa and we're like, I'm manifesting my best life and I'm here and I'm doing all the things, but nothing happens. And it's like, you got to do some things, you know, or we're like, go, 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 go with like no stop button. And so being able to bring that masculine and feminine energy together. And also, and I want to dive into that a little bit with you, this human design aspect, like being in alignment with your human design there. What I found, and I would love to know like from you, like how like bringing human design in your business and understanding feminine and masculine energetics helped you scale your business and helped you grow your business and the shifts it made. But one thing that I found, as I was on a similar journey and got introduced to all of this, and I'm all about making strategy fun and a vibe. And like, I am like very much in my feminine while being really held in a strong masculine strategy and structure. But one thing that I realized as a manifesting generator, I can always work. Like working comes natural to me, doing comes natural to me. And I was for a long time almost using that as an excuse. And so it wasn't until I got divorced. So it's so interesting how you're like, you know, you did things on breakup, helping women heal, here we are. But I got divorced less than a year ago, actually. And it was really after that, what sank in for me was to put as much ambition into my life as I was putting into my work. And to see too that in business, I don't have to constantly reinvent the wheel, because part of being like, you know, part of all the ideas coming in as a manager, I was constantly running and creating new masterclasses, new programs, like every month. Like in 2021, I launched a new masterclass and a new program every single month, 2 programs every single month for 12 months. And as we were heading into, 2022, things were working, my business was scaling like rapidly. But between my relationship falling apart and other things and pretending to be fine and all this stuff, like the cookie started to crumble, like I didn't have enough energy to keep it up. And so 2022, I dismantled everything, 16 years of my life, my business, and then I rebuilt it. And I was like, I kind of have this wrong, like this piece of human design.
Yeah.
I'll come up with something new and there's always new ideas. I was like, I can't sustain that. And if I want to scale beyond where I'm at now, there's no way I can keep doing this unless I bring in more people, of course, hire a team and or just find a different way to express that creative energy and hold some of it for me, but express it in my life as much as I do in my work. So I'm curious to get your perspective on everything I just
Yeah, I would love to. So with manifesting generators, the thing is like we need a lot of variety, right? And we have this multi-passionate energy. So we get excited and interested about many things, and we have all these new ideas and then get excited. Oh, I want to create this, I want to create that. But the important thing is to wait to respond. So when you're having those sparks of inspiration and ideas and new things that you want to do, you need to wait to see if that's really aligned. So that's the first step. And it can be hard for a manifesting generator that we move so fast to be patient and wait for those signs to respond, because sometimes we can get this inspiration, but then if we wait for that to come and really check if it's aligned, it might be that it's not. So not acting straight away on the and waiting to respond is super important for the alignment. And when it comes to creating new things constantly, like I absolutely agree with what you say, because of course, like the creativity is feminine, right? But then to put those things in action, to create those things, we need to then take action and do stuff, right? It's not just the creative part. So we can get into a lot of the masculine if we are constantly creating new things, because that requires funnels, emails, sign-up pages, learning portals. Like there's so much that goes into it, like creating the content, editing stuff, like there's so much behind. So what's important for a manager, and like one of the things I'm here to do is create simplicity in your business. And so is having a business model where you can have new stuff like every quarter or something, but something that's not super heavy, but then play with what still resonates, because as we evolve really fast, something that you created a year ago might not resonate at all anymore with you. But if you have offers that still resonate, or your one-on-one or your high-level one-on-one programs, or if you have something that is shorter, something that can bring that excitement and feeling of new stuff, is creating bundles or a new offer on something that already exists, or a new offer on your one-on-one. So this way you create variety and different things without having to create more, if that makes sense. So this is a way of not being constantly creating new stuff and putting yourself into that pressure and that masculine energy.
I love that. I think simplicity is so underrated most of the time, because we've been so programmed, that the more complex and complicated something is, the more valuable it is. And so we go into these like weird stories where we make everything so complicated so we can like live our struggle story and the complication of the life and the business we create. Whereas the simple things, actually, it's really difficult sometimes. Actually, I find most of the times keeping it simple is probably one of the most difficult things to do, because we attach so much story. Or it can't be this simple, it can't be this easy. So I love that you shared that. And I love something that you said really resonated with me and really kind of landed. And it was the play with what resonates. play with what resonates. I love that you say that. And I talk about that in different ways, but it's almost like, we can play with what resonates and we can become the broken record, really talking about the thing that we do, which we honestly got to do if we want to be able to build sustainable, scalable, and long-term successful businesses. If we're reinventing ourselves constantly in extremes, it requires a lot of effort. And you mentioned, some of the things that happen behind the scenes, but like it requires time, effort, dedication, commitment, showing up, consistency to build an audience of ideal clients for you. And yes, in business, I find I get to play with multiple things, but there's still this like core that I talk about. There's still the core message that I come back to. There's still the core teachings that I like preach, because I'm like, we gotta chop wood and carry water. Like, it doesn't matter what you do or how expressed you are. Like, we gotta get that out there. But the play with what resonates and allowing yourself to bring things back, to relaunch things, to even, sometimes you can just refresh something, right? Like I find, and for me, if I bring something back, changing an image, playing a little bit with like the name of the offer, like bringing it back in slightly a different format, but using what's there, I can show up really excited and lit up about that offer without needing to start from zero again. And that's been a huge thing for me in order to manage my capacity, so that as I take on more clients and as I scale my business, I can actually do all the things and show up for all the things without burning myself out in the process. So I have fun doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But it's not easy to do.
Yeah, it's not for a manager, because again, since we move so fast and we evolve so fast, we have this fast evolving energy. What happens is like we go faster than other people. So we just want to evolve and change and evolve and change. And like, if you are not very aligned and grounded at the same time, you can just keep like doing new things. And the fact is that not like the other types don't go as fast as we go. So we need to also meet our clients where they are and slow down a little bit so we can meet them at their pace, because otherwise we are always evolving our messaging, our programs, what we do. And some people need to hear the same things and like really sink into your stuff, into the core of your work before they buy. So I find that for manifesting generators, it's great to have your core foundational stuff and then play with variety and like more niched programs and things where you can have some more fun, but keeping that core essence as well.
I love that. So I would love to know, like, for all of our many gens and generators out there who are like creating like, 5 programs this month and like launching all this new stuff and, every 5 minutes change their mind, and like, that we can be like this. Like, let's just be really honest and raw and real here. We can become these like program development machines where we're constantly in this program development, and it doesn't necessarily lead to a profitable business. Not to say that it doesn't work, like it can work. And I see some people out there who are machines. And interestingly enough, I've recently seen them just having a core offerings and just keep bringing things back, which has also had me very curious. And I'm like, something's changed. I think they turn past 30 and like your energy goes down. Late 30s over here. So I know like things are going to change. But what tip would you give somebody, like if somebody finds themselves in this situation right now where they're constantly creating new, they might be at capacity, teetering at burnout, kind of losing the joy of their business because they're doing so much, but they're not really seeing the results because they're constantly like every month they're like new offer, new vibe, new person, new everything. Like, where do we start? Where would you suggest they start to pull that back and simplify?
Alignment, always alignment. That's the magic word. So like you can do anything in your business and everything works. Like literally everything works. The difference for that to work for you or not is your alignment. So things need to align with your energy. That's how human design can help you. So understanding your energy, because a lot of people don't have an understanding on how the energy works. So they might work on alignment based on their feelings and have a sense of it. But when you have a deep understanding about how your energy works, and through this awareness, you can then feel what feels aligned and what not. And then aligning with your essence, your work, your values, your desires, your goals, like everything has to be considered, because everything plays a part in your alignment. So going back to what you were saying, for example, around like creating new offers constantly, if that was for you and it's giving you results and it feels amazing and you're not getting into the burnout, fine, because it's different for everyone. But if you're creating all these offers because you work with a coach and they told you need to, because you are a manager and you need to be creating all this stuff, and then you just take that as a truth for everything, as a hard truth, but then you are feeling like you are in this stress and anxiety and about to burn out, then that means that that is not aligned for you. So again, like working with human design is not something that is going to box you, or shouldn't be something that is going to box you. Yeah, there are people who use human design and teach human design in a very disempowered way, and that's not my approach at all, because you need to understand your energy, like your unique essence and what's going on for you, but then really feel for you and trust yourself and your own intuition and guidance to create that alignment. Because it's not that you are a manager or a generator or a manifestor, and what applies for the manifestor or what you say about the manifestor is for everyone. You need to feel within the foundations of those energies how that it plays for you. For example, you and I are manifesting generators, right? So the feeling of satisfaction is going to be slightly different for me and for you. So like really looking at like variety for me might be different than for you. So you really need to work on that alignment and feel into what feels right to you, and then build your strategies and your business around that.
I love that. So kind of defining, what does satisfaction mean to you, to help you understand when you're even in alignment? Because I find like, listen, everyone's like, do things that feel aligned. And sometimes I'm like, what the fuck does that even mean? Like,
yeah.
what does it even mean to feel aligned? Because what feels aligned to me might not feel aligned to you, right? So like,
and that was a question that I had before coming across human design. Like in the industry, everyone started to talk about find alignment, be authentic. And I was like, okay, what is being authentic actually? Who am I? And what's creating alignment? Like, how do I know if I'm creating alignment or not? And human design is what gave me the answer to all of this. Understanding my soul essence, how my energy works, gave me an understanding and the awareness of feeling into if I'm aligned or not. Now I have a really clear understanding of that, so I know when something is throwing out of alignment, when something is not, when something might be fear and I'm trying to cover it as not being aligned. So all the things, and when you can really understand how to create alignment for yourself, everything becomes so much easier.
yeah, so it's really for everyone, like, what does it feel to you, right? If you're a manifesting generator, and if you're not, I know that Nadia has something for you that might set you on your path. And I want you to talk a little bit about that in a minute. But, you know, I think it's so important to really get really intentional with how we want to feel in our business and how we want to feel in our life, and get clear on that before you start doing anything. And then you have some ways of measuring that, right? Like if I say it, like as a manager, satisfaction is a sign that I'm aligned, quote unquote, right? Still using this word. But also for me, it's like satisfaction is being neutral. It's being at peace. It's feeling grounded. It's feeling rooted. It's feeling joyful.
Exactly.
Like it's not actually, satisfaction to me isn't being in like highs. For for me, like it's being in a very neutral, grounded, stable, steady space for me. That is satisfaction. Like that is like
exactly.
the highest for me, or the purest or the most authentic for me. When I'm like when I'm like
super high, it gets overwhelming.
yeah, and I'm an emotional
but
authority
a
too,
lot
right? So I'm like a spiral staircase. I'm like up and down, up and down, up and down. So if I can like sit on the staircase, like in the middle and hang out there, I'm like, that's a beautiful space for me. But I needed to understand that before I could even.
Exactly. And yet so many human design experts will say the satisfaction is the excitement, right? And then so many manifesting generators feel that they have to be in this constant high and excitement. But that's different. Like you have a combination of manifestor and generator, right?
Yeah.
So this peace and grounding comes from the manifestor bit. But for every manifesting generator is different. Some people feel more into the manifestor energy, and some people feel more into the generator, and that satisfaction is going to be different for everyone. For a generator, some of my clients say that satisfaction is this huge feeling of fulfillment, for example. So it's not always excitement. And just to like mention a little bit outside of the money gen, projectors are a huge example of how things feel for each person, because projectors are generally, quote unquote, are generally people who need a lot of balance between work and rest and play, but it's different from a projector to projector, because some projectors have motor centers, so they have generally more energy than others, while other projectors might feel more tired and need a lot of rest and naps and stuff like that. So a lot of projectors are being told that you need to rest a lot, and you like projectors generally feel tired, and then they take this on and then feel something is wrong with them because they actually don't feel tired. So they don't align with the projector, so it's very different for everyone. And the sign of being in alignment for a projector is success. Success is so different from person to person. And when we work with success, we need to understand what success really means at soul level, not the ego version of success. So it's always going to be different for each person. And the power of human design is really when you use it in an empowered way and start to take the information, but really see how that plays for you and create your own alignment, not taking something someone says as a hard truth and make it your own.
I love that. I love that so much. And I mean, I really find having brought human design into my business and also having awareness around the human design of my clients really helps me in terms of strategies. Like I consider it when I work with clients, I find out what their human design is so that I know, they're manifestor, they're reflector, they're projector, like, because it's so different for me when I'm like, oh, like I'm talking to a manifestor and like I can see they never stop. I'm like, yeah, like we gotta like, let's talk about this a little bit, or it's just a really interesting thing to see how we can use it, and it can really help us also figure out what kind of business model can work for us based on our human design. And it sounds like you have something that might help people do that. So Nadia, what do you have for us? You have something really cool. So I'd love for you to share what you have for the beautiful humans listening.
Yeah, so I have a human design for business mini course that is normally 55 pounds. It's a low ticket anyway, but I'm offering that for free to all your listeners. So yeah, I believe you will leave the link in the description of the show. But this goes into like the very basics of human design, because human design, like you can go into so much depth with the channels and the gates and everything. But to create alignment, the first thing you need to look at is your energy type, your strategy, which is how you are meant to interact with the world, which is related to your type. So each type has a strategy. And then your authority, which depends on which centers you have defined. And your authority is your inner wisdom or intuition. So we all have a different way our intuition speaks to us. And this inner authority in human design is how your intuition speaks to you and how you are meant to make aligned decisions. So the course goes through the types, through the sign of being in alignment and out of alignment for each of the types, the strategy, the authority, and then there is a cool bonus lesson around manifestation and how to manifest in a way that's aligned for your energy type. Those are short lessons, really easy to watch and digest, and are really going to give people an understanding of their human design and how to start creating more alignment in their life and businesses.
I love this. Thank you so much for sharing this with us. This is amazing. I can't wait to check it out. I always love learning new things about human design, and everybody, you said this, but everyone explains it so differently too. And sometimes I find it lands for us more explained in one way than another way. So even if you already know about human design and you're curious, I'd invite you to take advantage of this amazing free gift. That is awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that with us, and that you're going into all the, the types and what is aligned and what's not aligned, and really help people figure this out. And I know you're also on Instagram at It's Nadia Gargallo. Again, I'm going to put all the links in there, and you share beautiful content there as well. So we can tune in to all the magic you have to offer and learn more from you there, which is amazing. But as we're sort of wrapping up this interview, I would love for you to maybe share from your perspective, what's one thing you would suggest focusing on in business to really help people, grow their businesses and find a way of doing it that works for them and is in maybe alignment or whatever you want to add, but share a little bit about that, your journey, and a little golden nugget that they can take away.
So apart from alignment, it's hard for me to focus on just one thing, because when I work with alignment, I work on at all levels, right? I start working on alignment with yourself first, your energy, your essence, understanding all of that. And then I move into the offers, your ideal client, and your messaging. Messaging is a huge, huge one, which I feel, at least the people that I'm attracting, a lot of them are really doubtful on their message. So when you work with human design to align your message, it's crazy powerful, because I work on aligning your message to your energy first, and then your essence. I look at your sun gate in human design, your conscious sun gate, which is all about what you're here to do. And in the Gene Keys is your brand. So it's the essence of your brand and what you're here to do. And then I look at the Mercury gate, which is the planet of communication. So it's what you are here to communicate, and with what energy. And when you can combine all these essence of yours in your messaging, and then align this with your ideal client and your work, it's just crazy. So that's something that we focus a lot on with my clients. But again, alignment goes in everything. So something that's very important that I see people are not doing enough is making connections. And that, for me, should be one of the priorities in your business, because a lot of people are creating content and making all this effort in creating programs and other things, and then they don't sell. And when you rely only on content, unless you have a big following and you have an authority already, is going to be very slow to convert clients only through that. So making connections, growing your audience should be one of the priorities on your business, according to my own approach. And again, it has to be in a way that's aligned, because if someone is telling you need to go and DM everyone, or you need to do this or that, and it doesn't align with you, again, you are not going to see the results. So it's really anything that you do in your business, finding the thing that really works for you.
I love that. I think those two pieces you just mentioned are so important. I mean, I don't know, once we get into the gates and all that stuff, I'm I am out. I'm really curious. So I'm definitely excited to check out your course. I'm excited to find out more about that. I've had other people talk about it. I know Phoebe Kuhn is somebody I follow as well that talks a lot about messaging and your human design and the gates. And I'm so curious. So I looked into it a little bit, but then I was like, I'm going down a rabbit hole right now. But I love that you mentioned, the connection piece and how undervalued it is. And I think such a powerful reminder, social media is about being social. That's why it's called social media, not just media. So when we always talk at people, but not with people, or build relationships or reach out, right? Like things don't come out. And I think it reached out to me on something and then I responded, right? Like the fact that we're sitting here is as the result of us both valuing relationships and nurturing and responding to our community. And I think that that's so important. And so I love that you bring that in, and I'll add to that always put the relationship over the sale. Always put the relationship over the sale. And the thing is, people will really come in. I think this is where we're so, and this is like a whole other conversation to have. And maybe when I'm on your podcast, we can talk about that more. But, I think a lot of us feel really wounded around the whole DMing thing. And it's because some people just go straight for the kill, I call it. I'm always like, when I talk to clients, I'm like, well, don't go straight for the kill. Like, don't know it. Like, it's not what we do. Yeah. But we've had this icky relationship, right? To like messaging. And it's like, it doesn't actually have to be like that. And it can be very natural. And you never know where these conversations are going, but you also don't know what opportunities come up, right? Like if we don't respond, if we aren't willing to explore, then cool conversations like this could never exist. And I feel like if for all of those listening to today's conversation, I really want you to, like, even just the last like 5 minutes of this conversation, go back and listen to it again and see what came up for you the moment Nadia mentioned the connecting piece. Because I know a lot of you are like, I'm running away. And it doesn't have to be. And there's so many beautiful entrepreneurs who have built successful businesses who have come on this podcast, and I'm doing more and more interviews, and so many of them I did not know before jumping on a call with them, before having an interview with them. And so what I really want all of you to understand is that this is the result of you building connections.
Yeah, that was huge in my journey, and it's something that I really work on with my clients too, is dropping the expectations. Because when you go into something with just one expectation, one fixed outcome, you block yourself from other opportunities that might come up from that. And also detaching from that specific outcome and being open and just like coming from an open heart when you build those connections is going to be so much more powerful. Like you said, like it might not end up being a client, but it might be a collaboration or a friendship or something else. You never know. Like even with my launches, there has been launches that didn't work and I didn't get to sell the program that I was expecting to, but then I got 2 one-on-one clients. So this is a huge part of the manifestation, is the surrendering and detaching from a specific outcome and just allow whatever has to come in. And that's going to help remove that ickiness and that feeling of like, I don't want to do this.
Absolutely. I love this so much. I love this. Well, Nadia, I could like talk to you for hours. Like, I feel like we could go into like 500 different directions, typical like Nanny Jen style. I'm like, let's talk about that. This is so amazing. Make sure everyone, you check out her awesome free mini training for human design for business. It's free. The link is in the show notes. Follow her on Instagram at It's Nadia Gargallo. Nadia, anything else that you want to share before we wrap up?
I'm just excited to have you on mine.
Yes. What's your podcast? What's your podcast called?
It's Powerful, Wild, and Magical.
It's powerful, wild, and magical. Well, I'm so excited to come on as a guest for you. We'll make sure everyone has the information. Thank you so much. Muchas gracias. I love that you tuned in, and I can't wait for everyone to just, feel your beautiful energy and learn from you and and listen to this. What a beautiful, beautiful conversation. So thank you so much.
Thanks to you. It's been a pleasure to be here.
I love it. Okay, everyone, this is a wrap for another episode, and I will be back next week with more juice. Take care of yourselves, keep growing your businesses, and stay aligned.